I am gonna do it at the public, at the time, I'm just for ourselves here. And then we're gonna hold it open for another month and see what the applicant wants to do. All right, so the first hearing we're gonna hear tonight is gonna be Jefferson Landing Circle. You have the copy of the staff report. From my understanding, this actually retaining wall is up under an emergency building permit. The retaining wall was replaced in kind in its exact location. It was an old timber wall and then was replaced. Andy, can you just, for the record, tell us, is this did they replace the timber wall with a timber wall?
I think it's a block wall.
Block.
Yeah, it's
Right.
a block wall.
Right, so they replaced it. Oh, was it block wall? And they
It's a
replaced-
block wall in the exact location.
Okay, so it was a timber,
That is what,
That's a rendering that was done.
is that what that is?
Yeah.
Because this looks like a timber wall, this is the pictures.
It's what was depicted, and they probably went
Okay.
for an upgrade in material, but this is that's what we have in
Right,
front
but
of us.
did they put in?
That's look, it says
No, that's when it was
1988,
originally- yeah, that's the
original
original
railroad
construction.
wall.
All right,
So
so
you
that's-
see the building
right.
is framed there.
Yes.
And not finished, so that's just
So it
representing
was-
what was
So it's
existing.
the existing timber, it was an existing timber wall that's now replaced with a block wall?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I wanted to clarify. Dimensionally and geographically, it's in the same location. They are required to get a front yard setback because the retaining wall extends past the front of the the front projection of the house. And on the side yard, obviously, they're very close to the side yard, but it's back where it's been, and the original wall is seen from the pictures from 1988. So,
It's like kind to the whole neighborhood.
so it's a type 1 action under SECRA. I don't see any real issues with this. It looks pretty straightforward, so. The second one's a little more complicated, and I'm gonna pull that one out because we need that plan. Which one is this?
This is 211 South Street.
Yeah, 24. That's what I'm just looking to pull out the plan that Andy had for me before. Here it is, right here. All right, so staff. Staff did here. It's from this map. They highlighted the 5 variances. 6 variances. We see them all numbered here.
Yep.
Couple of things I want to bring to, that we're gonna have to bring to the applicant's attention. There is a retaining wall here, 9.3, 7.7. So it's less than the variance that they're asking for, so they can't even, so they may have to go for a variance, and we may have to hold this here. And then this one here, if you look at the survey, which is right here. Right here, 10.4 and 8.4. So instead of, we may give them, we're gonna ask staff, number one, if they're gonna require a variance for these, and then we may hold the hearing open and have them amend the application.
There's nothing in the file of existing variances for
According to
this.
staff, no.
how high is this wall?
That I don't know, we'll have to verify it.
Yep.
But I think either way, not knowing what this wall is, I think either way, we may just say to them, listen, before you go down this road, because you're gonna have to come back to us, you don't wanna get a variance, have to come back and do this all over again. Just amend your application, include it all, but I
You're
understand.
saying these are greater than what they're applying for over here, so it's not like we're
Right.
pushing it, yeah.
Right. Like here's 10.6 and it's 9.3, but here is, maybe you can make the argument that but is this considered an accessory structure where this, it's,
Because if it was, well, you need what, 5 feet, passive, right? 5
Yeah.
feet, right?
I think you need more than that. I think you need, maybe I'm wrong. Andy, answer a question for us, please. On the retaining wall here, 7 points, what are they required to have?
15 feet.
15,
15.
right,
Let me,
But on the railroad
Check
side,
that.
it was only 5
yeah, let me check.
yeah.
for passage.
Well, it's side yard. This is considered front yard,
Gotcha.
front yard. That's why,
I'm
because,
looking at this backwards.
yeah, they're fronting on South Street. It's not fronting down here.
That's right, they're faced down.
Yeah, so
They look down.
yeah, so that
That's
one,
what it is.
right. So if I mean, you know, they're not asking for a variance for this, they're saying 5 here, so are they saying, well, 'cause I got that, 18. So the question is staff would have to clarify if they're gonna require, because here it's 10, this one, you could make the argument that you needed 4, this one you might say, well, it's covered under this one. But we're gonna have to,
So here's the street going this way, right?
No.
No, street's going this way. This is South Street, yeah. Sure.
You're confusing me for a second, because
Sure.
street ends and dies here, and this is this is,
The woods, yeah.
this is privately owned.
right,
So this is side yard, no?
Yes.
is that side yard? or front?
Yes, this is not front yard, this is side yard setting here.
Oh.
This is side yard, this, because technically the road ends right here. The way that the house is currently set, there's like a little parking space that's here that was being utilized but was not theirs. And then they have what is now to be the new, where the new garage is proposed, they pull in over
Well,
here.
let me ask you this question then, going back to the previous application, to Andrew's comment,
Antonio.
where
Just you.
this guy here,
Hey,
Um,
AC.
18 inches where 5 foot is required for a side yard setback, but now you're telling us 18.
On a passive structure.
It's a different zone, no? So
To
it'll be
RB3.
1 and there will
Yeah,
be
three.
3, right?
All right, so let's clear that up now, so we can,
See, I'm useful.
Most days. Some days?
What is the type? Which one?
RB3 is 18 feet side yard,
and what about RB1?
RB1 is
Because you say 5 feet here.
Yeah.
Because it's in the front yard. It's a passive structure on the other, let's see. Right.
Yeah.
Passive.
Oh, you're right, you're calling it an accessory structure, so 5 yard, yes. An accessory structure is 5, you're right.
But this is not an accessory structure here. The
But this-
retaining wall is here.
is.
This is here,
Right.
but this is not, because this is gonna be main structure addition in the
Correct.
rear.
Right.
You may not
And
need this variance.
this,
Right.
this variance is for the existing structure as well. And again,
Right.
they have nothing in file for any of this?
So Andy, so if we consider this retaining
nothing
wall
for
an
this for it.
accessory structure,
Don't need it.
then you're 5 feet.
You don't,
according
and you
to-
could
Then you
clear
wouldn't
it.
need
Right.
it there.
And
Right.
they wouldn't need a variance for this because it would be covered under this. Am I right in saying that, or no?
No, it's 6.7.
Right, but you're less here than this, so if I tell you that you're allowed to be 5.5 feet from the
Mhm.
property.
Height is-
As long as you say no less than
So wait,
5.
again, how many feet do we need here?
Side yard.
18.
Okay, so then yes, if you're gonna. Well, we gotta treat them different.
So these are two separate,
Yeah, yeah.
they're gonna, because this is accessory and this
Right.
is
This one,
primary.
right,
You don't need a variance.
you don't need a variance for that's why we don't need the variance, because it's considered an accessory structure, you only need 5 feet.
Okay.
But here, if we say you can't get any less.
Oh, man.
So,
So I agree, we don't need them here. I saw
right, because
that.
we're treating them as accessory structure. If you treat this as an accessory structure, then it's,
Mr. Chairman, it appears to me
They're gonna make a left into their little, and they go into their garage, face like this. They're gonna back up.
I hope there is a heck of a lot of drainage management for this one.
No.
Because the natural flow of water just surrounds this property, otherwise their basement is
fields
just,
going like
their
this, isn't it?
basement's just gonna get,
Well, that's what this is for. This shit, they're trying to See?
I'm just hoping
Yeah.
there's just, there, I would be dropping dry wells like a mad woman right there.
This hasn't gone into any kind of review yet, the building department.
Have you ever,
Planning isn't done.
is there a topo in there? You should review that.
We have to talk about it. Pull it up.
So now with this bump out, that gets you to 6.5 feet away from the side, from where?
This is
now-
for the,
this is
Oh, they're
The-
measuring this way, I'm sorry,
yeah.
excuse me. They don't give us, well, they kind of do, yeah, we
Yeah.
got it here.
It's greater than that.
Square. Right. Long, stairs, long, right? Mm-hmm.
anything's an improvement to that poor home, so, but
Steps, a lot of steps, huh? Terrace, this is all terrace up here.
Yeah.
this
It's
is,
going
this
down.
is
It's
a,
major slope. Yeah.
this property goes like this,
Yeah,
and then
I know,
there
I know,
are,
this whole, everything's coming into, I saw it.
this is, yeah, it's a rough spot. They are certainly maximizing the potential of,
So based on what you know of the site, the only alternative to this, to come in off of South Street and go around the house, pending that this extension is not proposed. And this is a court, so I don't even know if you can get through here.
Say that one more time, Andy, what?
I'm just looking at this as the only alternative they can do to expand this house. Obviously, they could keep going up, can't because of the zoning. So how can you get this garage, not in the front yard, but in the backyard?
you can't, there is,
There's no way,
there is no way, you only have 40 feet here.
right?
And the way that this house already extends, and then even if they were not to do this proposed addition, you're minimal here. This is, yeah,
This is a garden court. It's just.
there's nothing here. Right now, this is a proposed landscape design for them.
Alright, so this
there
doesn't-
is
So this is not in the way.
None of this exists. This is just debris
So if
here right
This
now.
doesn't exist, this is the distance, right?
Mm-hmm.
So can you get a 12-foot driveway through here? And probably not, because you got this retaining wall and this retaining wall. I'm just wondering is, do they have to put the garage here? Could the garage have been put in the back of their yard, avoiding all these variances and having an alternative? Is this needed? Or is this an alternative? Or is there no alternative?
Well, what are we looking at here? We're looking at 10 feet here.
This-
So
this
you're
is-
approximately 20 feet to come in from this.
I don't think it's possible, but it's the only other way. It's the alternative.
I don't think it is. And so we have 5 feet here is what what the spread is, from the property line to what this is. So you're probably looking at maybe 10 feet here, maybe. But I think like,
Parker, can you put up the topo on that? It's very steep.
I think they're gonna end up needing all the variances anyway, because they would need massive retaining walls here. If you were to look at the property, I'm interested to see where the slope begins. There might be, I just don't think that's an alternative for them. And I do believe that the amount of excavation that would be needed here to do that would be substantial as well. Because I think even with these retaining walls, there's still substantial slopage that's taking place here, and I'm sure they're gonna excavate out here, but that from this wall to this wall is,
Question.
Yes, sir.
As per- Percentage.
Let me check that.
Okay.
I think it's here. So,
Lot area, existing, proposed.
there's coverage, the coverage somewhere here, not
30%, what is our,
right here, coverage.
20% lot coverage is 29. Total existing lot coverage is 1,000. Proposed is 2907. So, and 20% is 2910.
and 20% is what our code is, or that's what what they're equating? How you reading this? I'm thinking 20% is what the coverage is in our zoning, and
Right.
they're only hitting 19.98, what they're saying to us.
Right. I'm just looking to see if he has it up here.
He's right up to the,
By a hair.
According to him,
Good job, Andrew.
assuming you believe his is 20%.
No, I think the code for RB3.
Can you
Yeah.
zoom in
is
on that a little
20%.
bit, please?
Right.
He's telling us that he took it right up to one tippity tip.
Yeah.
Don't
So-
blame,
I want to validate that he's right on that 20%. Yeah, I see the topo. Because what's the zoning? 30%, hold on.
RB3.
Yeah, but I'm saying, what's the coverage here?
20%.
It is, okay. All right, so he took it right up to the nose.
20%.
19.98. It was almost there, 2 cents I was short.
Don't blame him.
And what is he missing? Hold on, what is he using in that? Existing dwelling, existing front covered porch, proposed dwelling
Not as steep
addition,
as you think,
proposed
but,
rear covered
still pretty
terrace.
steep in the back,
Can you,
in the front.
okay, so he's not counting that.
110, 30, not horrible, but I've seen worse.
Dropping 20 feet
Yeah.
Hold on,
from
hold on.
back of the
Who
yard.
cares about that? That's not a zone, that's not, and look at this.
She-
He's not counting that. Court, okay? What's he counting it as?
Existing dwelling, existing front porch coverage, existing shed.
Okay, and not the 2-car garage?
Well, the 2-car garage is new, so he's
This
gotta look
is-
down here.
Yeah, and where is it?
Proposed dwelling addition,
Existing, existing, proposed dwelling addition, 1704, which is just what? Not that.
Well, I think he's saying that this whole thing is 1643.
Okay, all right.
We can ask, we
Yeah,
can clarify
yeah,
that,
yeah.
absolutely.
Well, I don't know if that's right.
So,
um,
if you assume by the
Mhm.
legend that he has here, everything
Mhm.
that's hatched is
Yeah,
1643.
it makes sense. If that's 825, okay, I can buy that story, see?
Relax,
and-
relax, Andrew.
I'm
Relax.
not gonna relax, because
Relax.
I wanna get on the record now. I got it. I'm making
Well,
good
the other
points.
question is, does he include, I
Yeah.
assume, again,
Making good points.
Mm,
I know how to replan.
be very surprised if this is the total of this and not just the first
very
floor,
surprised if
because
that's-
I went and drove past this and I mean, I own a house that's that square footage and it doesn't have a second floor.
assuming this has a second floor.
The existing home does.
Okay.
98.
Do we have the building plan on that? Is that-
What is it?
No, this
No.
is that,
So,
it's this
Says
one.
driveway cover, lot area coverage.
This is a 2-story frame structure, it says here.
Andy, driveway cover against your,
Put this back in the file because I want to lose it.
Total living space, 4,763,
Interesting.
plus a 500 square foot 2-car garage.
okay, but when you're talking coverage, it's just the footprint, right?
right, yep, you can't
Right.
double it out.
Yeah, you
Okay.
don't get double for, it could be
So
10 stories high.
Driveway cover,
It's impervious, it's,
hardscape,
I would go into the drainage calculation, but I don't know if that goes
lot
into
coverage is way over
coverage.
20% with the driveway. It's another 400 some square feet. Looks about the size, take a look. All right, yeah, this,
Mhm.
that.
We can ask
All
that
right,
question.
okay.
All right. Cindy, we're what, 6:30? All right. Andrew had a lot of questions. I think your dad just beat you because he liked it.
I did, you know, last thing.
Huh?
Yeah, he did.
I know.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
Let's put his world back together here. I'm cleaning house.
there, I think we're gonna need access to the second application. You all ready? Let me shut my phone off. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the March 27th, 2025 Zoning Board of Appeals hearing for the Village of Port Jefferson. I would ask if anyone has any cell phones to please put them on silent. We will be hearing 3 applications tonight. We are going to go out of order a little bit here because we've got a request from an applicant to postpone a held over hearing, so I'm just going to do a housekeeping issue quickly. I'm going to, what, yeah. All right, so I'm going to make a motion to reopen the Belterre Road change of use application. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. For the record, we have received 3 coordinated responses, one from the Suffolk County Planning Commission, one from the ARC, and one from the Public Safety Commission, which is now in the file and available for review. I also have a correspondence from the applicant dated March 13th, 2025 from, I'm going to assume it's the applicant. The email that he sent it was aron77@aol.com. Good afternoon. I hereby request that the public hearing on my application scheduled for March 27th be postponed to April 24th hearing. More time is needed to obtain all necessary reports from various experts. Thank you for your understanding, Dr. Nawaz. That being said, do I have a motion that we hold open this hearing until April 24th Zoning Board of Appeals? Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. The next hearing we are going to hear is 12 Jefferson Landing Circle, application number ZB-0016-25. Location 12 Jefferson Landing Circle, Suffolk County Tax Map Number Section 14, Block 5, Lot 20. Zoning is the RB1 Residential District. The property owner is Judith and Laura Faber. Contact is Laura Faber. The description is replace a failing railroad tie wall with block retaining wall. Action is a public hearing pursuant to Chapter 250, Article 7, Attachment 3, District, Bulk, and Parking Regulations for Residential Structures for the RB1 Residential Zone. Variance number 1, side yard setback 18 inches where 5 feet is required for an accessory structure. Variance number 2, passive accessory structure in the front yard. 250-28, all residence districts, accessory buildings. 1, an accessory building containing either passive or active accessory use may be located in any required side or rear yard, provided that the code states that the accessory structure may be only in the side and rear yards when conforming to accessory building requirements. Okay. For the record, either of us did not work in the same department or have supervisory approval over either one of us. That being said, if you could just state your name and your address and be sworn in, please, I appreciate it.
Good evening. My name is Laura Faber. I live at 12 Jefferson Landing Circle, and I've been a resident of the Village of Port Jeff for over 40 years.
Okay, I need you to be sworn in. So just raise your right hand and she'll swear you in.
Please swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Okay. Please proceed.
Requesting a variance. Can you pull the microphone up? Requesting a side yard variance.
Hold on. Can you just turn that on for her, please?
You just have to hit the button in the front.
Okay, it's green.
All right,
There
there we
you
go.
go.
Okay.
Requesting a side yard variance for the replacement of a railroad tie retaining wall, which was put up in 1988, which has fallen apart over the last couple of years, especially with the last storm we had over the summer was the last straw. So we're looking to put a new driveway in along with a very long retaining wall. It's 83 feet long.
Okay,
And we will infringe, we cannot in any way, shape, or form have a 5-foot setback from our neighbor who are the Boyds, and Jim Boyd is here tonight. And we've been working together on this project, actually, and the Boyds don't have any objection to this. And it's really the only way that we can do it. We can't move it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to get it out of my garage at the top. So we look to replace the wood wall with a stone block wall with drainage and a dry well and drainage in the driveway itself because it's on quite a slope. And we didn't have that before when the house was built, so that's added on. And also the drainage will go all under the wall into the front and around and into the dry well.
couple of things. I'm just gonna, from my understanding that you were issued an emergency building permit and the wall has already, the existing wood timber wall has been removed and a new stone block wall has been replaced and inspected?
That's correct.
Okay. And the existing stone wall was put back in the exact place of the previous wood?
That's correct.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions or comments for this applicant?
It wasn't expanded in any way, and it wasn't raised in a height of a difference
No.
from the original wall.
Not at all.
All the dimensions are the same.
Yes, the original wall was a 4-foot with a little bit of a setback and 4-foot. With the new requirements, I need a 27-foot from the base of my garage out. So that brings that out where I can't do a 4-foot and a 4-foot and set it back a little bit. It has to be one wall, and it's 27 feet from the base of my garage.
But geographically,
It's exactly the
It's the
same
same. Okay,
from the whole wall itself, yes.
all right. Does anybody else have any questions or comments for this applicant?
So a survey was submitted as part of your application showing the prior wall.
Yes,
Did you submit a new survey?
yes.
We have that.
Okay.
Is that what we're looking at?
No.
Do you see the as-built?
So the driveway, okay. Right, okay. So it's that wall adjacent to your driveway, am I correct?
Correct.
That's
I don't think that's the most recent.
Okay.
That is not.
We'll give them back to you, I promise. We'll give them back to you. Cindy, can you confirm that the survey that Andy's looking at is dated 3/24/25? All right, so we have the most recent survey dated 3/24/25. And then we're gonna add that to the file. All right, so here's,
Here's our property line.
This is the neighbor that's here.
Yes.
That's
Yes,
not his
that's right.
neighbor. This is actually, the drainage is probably gonna end up
Just bear
back
with
there
us a
in the
moment.
house.
There's a topo on it.
Yeah.
Make my eyes hurt.
So Andy, just for the sake of expedience, could you just testify or
This is
confirm
fine
what
for
the
this
applicant has said, that the
This isn't changing any, this is.
new wall is in the same geographic place as the old wall?
Yes, I can confirm that.
Okay, so Is it okay if I keep this one? We add it to the
Sure.
file?
Absolutely.
Cindy, this is the new,
I-
3/24/25.
Cindy, I just dropped those off probably Tuesday morning, and I emailed it to you Monday night.
Oh, so we have them already. Okay, then we can return that to you. I won't want to take your survey.
You sure? Okay.
Yeah, if we have them already, there's no need to take them. All right. I'm just going to walk you through a couple of quick questions, if you can answer them to the best of your ability. There's 5 requirements that the board has to consider, so I'm going to read them to you, and you give me your opinion. Whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to near properties would be created by if we gave you this variance.
No.
Okay, and that's because that wall has basically been in the same place, and we're not adding
Almost
anything
40
new.
years,
Okay.
yes.
And it's consistent with the rest of the neighborhood?
Whether the benefit can be achieved by some other method, other than this
Unfortunately not.
variance, due to the topography and existing. Whether the requested area variance is substantial, we'll handle that. Whether the proposed variance will have any adverse impact on physical and environmental conditions.
No, I don't
And
believe
actually,
so.
we're removing an existing wood,
It was
probably
rotted.
creosote or treated wood, and now we're putting in stone, or
Yes.
we've replaced it with stone. And whether the alleged difficulty was self-created, what's your opinion? Yeah,
Well,
it's more of a topography issue.
it is, and the storm that came late in the summer is
Mhm.
really what pushed us over the edge. And when we went to take up the driveway, the whole top part all came down.
Okay, excellent. That being said, are there any other questions from the board for this applicant?
No.
Okay. Is there anyone here from the public that would like to speak on this application? Mr. Wood? If you could just stand and be heard, please, if you'd like to speak. I just need you to state your name and your address and then be sworn in by the young
Okay.
lady.
James Boyd, 14 Jefferson Landing Circle. Yes.
Okay.
I'm in favor of this. Laura was put in a bad predicament with the wall starting to come down in her driveway. She did want to replace, so it's no problem to me. That wall was the same distance from my property border forever, since the house was built.
Can you just tell us where you are in proximity to this house? Are you next to him, across the street?
To the left of
So
Laura's
w-
house.
Okay, so in that driveway,
That's
that
my
left there,
driveway
that-
going up,
Okay,
and the house is just to the left of that
okay,
driveway.
so you're immediately adjacent.
So I'm in favor of this, glad it was done, and
Excellent.
hopefully another 40 years. Hold on.
I hope longer than that with stone, so.
Yeah. Thank you.
Is there anybody else that would like to speak on this application? Seeing none and hearing none, is there any other questions from the board? That being said, I make a motion that we close the hearing, I'm sorry, it's a type 1 action under secra. I make a motion that we close the hearing. Do I have a second on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right. Hey, Laura? Can I get my card back from you? You know what? Thank you, you're welcome.
Yeah, have a good night.
The next application on the agenda this evening is 211 South Street. What did I do with my? Bear with me 1 second. Cindy, can you give me another copy of the staff report for 211, please? Thank you, Andy. All right. I'm sure it's probably in the file, but, all right.
You have your,
Yep,
Mhm.
actually, I stole Andy's.
okay.
211 South Street, application ZB-11-24, location is 211 South Street. Section lot is section 12, block 5, lots 24 and 25. Zoning is RB3 residential district. The property owner is Dr. Thomas Earhart. Contact is Alfred M. Sutton, RA. Proposed 2-story addition / alterations to include off-street parking and attached 2-car garage to existing residence. The action is a public hearing. Pursuant to the Port Jefferson Village Code, Section 250, Attachment 3, Bulk and Parking Regulations for Residential Structures, the applicant requests the following variances. 1, maintain existing 6.5 front yard setback where 40 feet is required. 2, propose 10.1 front yard setback where 40 is required. Maintain existing 5.5 foot south side yard setback where 18 feet is required. Propose 6.5 feet north side yard setback where 18 feet is required. 5, propose 10.6 foot northeast side yard setback where 18 feet is required. And number 6, maintain existing 40-foot lot depth where 100 feet is required. Sir, if you could just state your name and be sworn in.
Alfred M. Sutton, I'm the architect for the applicant. We're at 278 North Country Road, Miller Place, New York. Take,
Raise
Uh,
your right hand and be sworn in.
oh, sorry, okay. I do.
Mr. Sutton, did you get a copy of staff report for this?
I
project?
did.
You
I
did.
did.
Excellent.
I
Please
trust-
proceed.
Okay, great. I colorized one of the sites. I don't know if it's I see that you have the screen, so
Okay.
do I?
You could just, put it on the chair next to you and we'll take
Okay,
a look at it.
So first and foremost, I'd like to, as a merit, the owners, these properties, this was 2 properties, and there was a paper road between them, Hunt Street, and they consolidated the properties. They originally purchased 2 non-conforming properties, and the house was on the back piece. And they have now successfully consolidated them to the lot that you see. So it essentially evolved from an 8,640 square foot back lot with a single-family home on it and a vacant lot in the front owned by the same owner. And now both non-conforming, now it is a single conforming lot. It's a little long, but it's conforming. So it's currently 14,551 square feet in a 12,500 square foot zoning, so we comply. And the proposed additions are in total compliant also with the allowable lot coverage. Just saying that as mayor, I'm trying to bring up the merits because we have a lot. And then I'm just going to go right to the setbacks that you read off, all consistent. There are 6 issues variance-wise, and 3 of them are we're maintaining what's already there. And part of what's driving that is that the existing home, which is this cottage, okay, which is, I don't know the exact date, but I'm told it was over 100 years old now, currently. It's actually... What happened? So this is the cottage that's on the site now. And the owners are intending, and Dr. Earhart and his wife Ann are retired, they're empty nesters, and this is hopefully they want to be their home of homes, okay? So this is gonna stay basically intact, and the additions that we're proposing involve, is certainly gonna be enlarged. The wing on the left side, on the back, the primary rectangle that you see to the right of the site is this home, and then to the left of it, a little less narrow, it's just, the property line that goes to the St. Charles area is, I think it's 18 feet at that point, but, and then it kind of goes forward, a narrow strip connecting to the massing, that's kind of the new addition in the front, okay? What the reasoning behind doing that was actually to break up the massing and essentially address the way the land is distributed, and meaning in a way that it fits the shape of the house. We believe fits very comfortably on the site, okay? And it essentially addresses, it's very steep as you go to the rear of the property, And when you come to the front, or I guess that's west, you ultimately flatten out. And they're retiring, so they don't, the thought of a steep driveway or access to the garage was absolutely imperative to have it on flat zone, which we can provide. And in the context of providing that, we get to have, you can park 4 cars easily, 2 in the garage, 2 out. You can technology, I'll move
Making your
back,
life
or-
easier.
Yeah. Okay, so the first merit was that they consolidated the property to a legal lot, and the geometry and all is not arbitrary. We did it on a management in terms of the site itself, the topography, and the shape of it, because it's elongated. The front of the existing home, I'll just point out that these 2 windows are staying, and that we're adding a third, and then we're gonna have gable roofs over it. You can see that on the elevations of the home. So this stays, the kitchen area stays, and then the addition is for a bedroom and like that. They needed it on the first floor. There was no bedroom.
Mr. Sutton, those pictures you have, are those of the existing structure?
Yeah, this is,
Would you mind if I see those?
no,
Thank you.
She looks better in that picture than she does in real life.
on the back photograph, you'll see the old shed that was falling down, and they took it down just so it doesn't fall on someone. So that's gone from
Yeah.
the site. uh, Okay, the merit of saving it, we believe that this is, if it's okay, I'll
I
have
walk the
3
property.
copies, or I'll keep one for myself and give you guys a copy each. This is just the real property tax lot of this site.
Cindy, we're gonna make this an exhibit in the file.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No worries.
All right, so what I brought this in for is that the way it's essentially, one of the variances is for a second front yard of 10 feet, which is the extended area that you'll see, the block that I'm pointing to, 211 proposed, you'll see on that map. These are not exactly to scale, but they're very, very close. And so if you look at the only house that's, like on the same side of the, on the same side of the block, is number 409 in the front. And it is literally not on the property line, but it's about 2 feet off the property line. We feel that has merit, because we're not asking to be inconsistent or something standing out in the neighborhood. We're at the end of the block. By having it over, like, we felt we tried a few variations on the design, and it was problematic because of the slope, and then obviously,
This is green space. That
wait
can
till
be
they
No, get
Oh, I'll keep going. Sorry. Okay.
We're just confirming.
Okay, so, and including, say, 409 and number 407 on High Street, it's very close. I didn't measure them, but we don't feel we're egregiously inconsistent with the neighborhood. So we kind of are hopeful that 10-foot could stay. And it is, I do realize that on the lot number 409, that's their side yard, and it's our technical second front yard. So, but that's all what this map was for. Do you need a copy?
No, no.
Oh, thanks.
Let's just feed him back.
Okay, I needed you 20 minutes ago, so are you okay? Okay. So we have that part. Then there's a benefit, we believe this to be a tremendous benefit, creating that courtyard that separates the massing of the existing home from the new wing that's towards the front. And what happens is, we're trying to create this English garden, kind of an outdoor space, very low brick wall, It's even for the, you know, the Earharts, they could sit there and enjoy life and all like that. And it's open to the neighborhood. It's not like people go up the end of the block. It's there, it's part of it. Plus, it breaks up the massing. If we did a home of this size, all one giant block, it actually is more imposing than this. By splitting it apart like that, it actually makes it less it's less of an anomaly, and it's the kind of the massing of the spaces matches the house across the street, which on the garage is a two-story garage, and it's a wing similarly spaced away from the main house, the one that's directly across the street, kind of just I guess that's south. I brought just, these are not of this house, but these are the like courtyards that the owner has seen and is entertaining the thought process, and we're gonna match this in that courtyard. So what you see is, this is kind of the existing
Sutton,
house. Oops, sorry.
Mr. Sutton, just real quick. So those are not pictures of houses in the village or?
Exactly.
Okay, I just want to,
This is
just for clarification.
This is just, the
Conceptual
world
ideas.
is their oyster, they picked out what they like.
Okay,
So
I just
I said,
confirming for the record.
so ultimately, they both contain the same kind of feature. A sitting area, lawn, lots of plants, ivy, and it open to the public. And then you would have a water feature piece. This one has the water feature in the ground. I don't know if you'd like to look at
No,
it.
you
right-
can hold
Okay,
those.
great. That's that.
And that would represent on the drawing the raised garden court?
Correct.
Okay.
That's exactly. It's open, it's not screened off, and it stays just like that. Little courtyard, three sides where it's kind of corralled in by the house itself, so that's that. Okay, that's visual benefit, we got the distributed massing, we got that. Okay, the gambrel roof choice in lieu of the existing house is a gable with reverse gables on it. And it's almost a salt box the way it was built, the different pitches. You know, just the size of it is double, you know, it's only 845 square feet, the house, so we're maxing it, so to like allowable limits. There is an elevator in it, and that's for the Earharts want that, because they don't want to climb a lot of stairs, obviously. And then we have basically, the gambrel roof design essentially brings the massing of the house down because the dormers are low. That's the second floor. It'll look like dormers, and it looks like a one-story in the way it appears when you're close to it. And it tears down towards the front yard where the garages are in the basement, and then, but they're above grade because the property keeps sloping down. So you drive straight in, it looks like a one-story house, and then gambrel roof, second story within the roof, and then we did that intentionally to keep, again, the massing. The cupolas that we show on the design are just for entertainment, and we love the aesthetics of it. That's why we did it, so. I basically, I mean, if you have any questions, I guess I'm thinking it's, you know, like I could go on a little bit about it, but it's, we're real excited about it. The Earharts have been living in Port Jefferson, and his practice is here for, I believe, 30-odd, maybe 40 years, and he's, you know, a pediatrician, and he delivered my daughter, well, so it's all good. That's the general overview of our project.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. We have some questions for you, so I'm going to let the board ask you some questions. So,
Yeah.
you made a comment that the proposed additions are not creating any of the variances. I'm looking at the plans provided by staff, and they do show, just for the record, the 6.5 feet off a proposed two-story. So there is a variance related to that. It's not a fatal flaw. I just want clarification purposes. And then 10.6 in the back. Again, it's not a fatal flaw. I want a clarification for the record.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have any questions for this applicant? Please.
I don't. I think AC is going to cover the gist of them.
You're up.
Okay, so you've got two lots that merged,
Correct.
both non-conforming. deeds have merged them, the county, and the tax map.
Correct.
Is your microphone on?
Yes.
Well,
Woo! So you have two lots that have merged, recognized by the county on the filed maps.
Health department, all inclusive.
Certificate of abandonment for the paper road,
Yes,
right, which comes with its covenants and restrictions, but
Yeah.
don't seem to interfere with what you're proposing. right?
correct.
And you're calculating your lot coverage based on the combining, obviously, of those two
Including
lots.
the paper road that's now part of the property.
So that factors into your available
Correct.
coverage. And as proposed, how much lot coverage are you?
19%.
And what's required in
The allowable is 20, so we brought it up to the
to
line.
max? You brought it to
Well,
max.
it essentially, it's not the max, but it's close, and it essentially was the evolution of, like, it's, they have a fairly big family, people
Sure.
visiting. that
But
kind
tell
of
us
thing.
what you're calculating, not about the family.
Oh, all that pochade area,
Mhm.
plus the existing, obviously.
Right.
It includes the two-car garage, the family room, and the other expansion to the main house, which is mostly a great room and the master bedroom that's
Right.
up there. So ultimately, the open area of the existing is 840,
Right,
and then once
slide
you
out.
include them all together, that's our total
Other way,
proposed.
other way.
Understood.
Yeah, sorry, our total
Okay.
proposed lot. The rectangle that's down in the
There.
front there, that's just the driveway.
That's just the
So,
driveway, not
yeah.
a building.
No, it's not a building, it's a driveway. And so.
So it wouldn't count towards the.
Correct, right, so, and we realized that it's, the house that was there, and if we did any addition, nothing complied because the lots themselves didn't comply.
We're non-conforming.
Exactly. So we felt that, we realized it was a tight fit, but it's the cost factor of everything.
Sure.
You just put it all together, the purchasing and everything else, the construction costs, and their hopeful, like, long-term use. It seemed reasonable to approach it from the, close to the edge, but not going over. That was our intent, so.
Thank you.
Have any questions or
No.
comments?
We've reviewed all of this at the work session.
Thank you.
Okay,
Right,
Mr.
well,
Sun, I'm gonna ask you to take a seat. I'm gonna open it up to the public and let them
Okay.
comment, any questions.
Great.
Is there anyone here from the public that would like to speak on this application? Please come forward and be heard.
I would, actually, mostly I'm looking for information.
Sure.
Good
But-
evening. My name's David Parsec.
Sir-
I'm the neighbor of.
Sir,
the
I'm
Brown
gonna-
house in the neighborhood.
Sir,
Oh,
sir, I'm gonna ask you to, first give your name and address,
Sure.
be sworn in, and then just direct all your questions
Alright.
to the board, and we'll do
Fine.
our best to answer any you have.
Hello. You want to know my name? David Parsec. S-I-C-K.
And your address, please, sir?
501 High Street, Port Jefferson, New York. I do.
And I'm just gonna ask you where you're located, but my esteemed colleague pointed it out, so excellent, thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Good evening. So I'm in that block. There are 4 houses that are on that South Street extension, and I'm one of them. So I'm interested in knowing what the additions are. And so I've been listening. I want some clarification so that I understand everything. So I understand that the house is where it is,
Mhm.
and that the extra lot, which is now merged, is in the front of that, more or less.
Yes.
And I'm just wondering, because you're talking about the existing house and then a 2-car garage, and I'm wondering, the 2-car garage is going to be in that front area in the.
Sir,
what was
did you
if you have
see
good-
the
Yeah, I'm not
diagram
sure- yeah.
here?
Yeah,
I'm looking here, and it's the existing, okay, so this is where the proposed 2-story addition is, and the new garage is going down there, okay. Oh, and it's gonna come in from that way, all right, and the other property, so this property goes until there, so the other 4 are not from there down. So
Mr. Sutton, just let him, I don't want you answering any questions.
There's a connection, oh, that's where the garden is, okay. I'm trying to get all that information. from
Sure,
the
I-
screen, and couldn't see it from.
And-
so the
and if you-
The colors do help.
And if you want to, if you'd like to see the architecturals, you can reach out to the planning department, and they'd make an appointment for you to come and look through the
That's
file.
pretty much what I wanted to
Okay.
see. Okay, so I just say, as a person in the neighborhood, that sounds fine to me. People deserve to do what they want to do with their property. It's not doing anything to my neighborhood that I think looks bad. I'm glad to have people in the neighborhood that are trying to do good things, and I have no objections myself.
And just so you know, once we're done with this applicant, this board has made a decision on this application. It'll then be going back to the planning board, and they'll be reviewing the application as well. So I'm sure there'll be another public, am I right in saying that, or am I wrong?
Mr. Chairman, you are right in saying that it'll go back to the Department of Building and Planning, but I think this will go right through to the building inspector, and the building
Yes.
inspector will review and issue the permit.
Thank you for the clarification.
I would just like to ask, would it be okay if I took a picture of that with my phone so that I can remember it?
No objection from anyone here?
Okay, great.
Absolutely.
And that's all I had to say. Thanks for your time. You were very well spoken. I think you made your point well.
Thank you for coming out, sir. Is there anyone else that would like to come forward and speak on this application and be heard? Going once? If you want to come up, we're very easy to talk to. We'll answer any questions you have. Going twice? Mr. Sutton, I'm going to ask you to come back up again.
Yep, thank you. Thanks.
Ms. Sutton, I'm just going to walk you through the criteria. You're an architect, so you're a little more versed in this. So I'm going to just walk you through. I'm going to ask you to respond to the best of your ability. Do you believe that this benefit could have been achieved by any other means feasible to the applicant?
Not providing the, these are now, they wouldn't like me to say this, but elderly nature of it, to have the flat area where I'm not slipping on ice, and that there was really no other solution that made sense where the garage would go, so that's why we did that.
Do you think by allowing these variances, there would be an undesirable change created to the neighborhood? Do you think the other properties would be impacted adversely?
I do not, and partly because even the total extent of the proposed addition, it doesn't even, it's almost aligned with the neighbor across the street, but it's still back from it. So it's not going to be imposing. When they come out of their driveway, they see the same open area that they've been seeing. And we do believe that potentially this will create a, comparable, it's a, expensive project to do, and it'll actually raise, it has a tendency when a big home gets built in, and sometimes it does raise the property values around it. It's absolutely a benefit in that regard.
And is there going to be any environmental or physical impacts to the neighborhood? You're not building underground wells, there's no
No.
standard construction?
We're fortunate because we connect directly to the sewer line. It comes up the block, the gas main's already in. All those things are are positive, so we don't see.
Due to the slope change, there's not going to be any significant site work done other than what's required for standard construction?
Exactly.
For standard construction, right.
Foundation, standard, things like that, stabilizing.
Whether it's self-created, to achieve what they want, yes, but it's not a fatal flaw, and it's also based on the property size.
Correct, and it's really,
Shape.
we're responding to it's a unusual shape the property is. If it
Okay.
was a rectangle, it'd be easy. This is a big, long property, so.
All right.
Rear existing retaining wall is excluded from.
Yeah, we said it was an accessory structure, so it's within the. We were originally discussing whether the retaining walls needed variances, but because they're considered accessory structures, they're required to be 5 feet from the property line. You've met that, so
Great,
not an issue there.
thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments?
Yes, this is a single family.
Yeah, it is. It's a single-family home, and they have adult children. They can separate themselves from them by their room and the other bed to the front, so that's a benefit in a way. And but yeah, it's a single-family home. It's maintaining that, and we know that the zoning R3, I guess, is two-family allowed.
RB3 has both, yes.
Right, yeah. So, but it's a one-family home just for the doctor and his family.
And the
that's it.
addition would, right,
Yeah.
infer that you could access those 2 points.
Completely open.
Right.
And it's actually a gallery for a bunch of artwork that they have that they can, and the glass is open to the outdoor garden courtyard, so it'll have that transparency, the walking past, so.
It's not gonna become multifamily apartments.
No, it's not in their nature.
Okay, good.
Private.
One last time, I'm gonna open up to the public. Anybody got any comments? Seeing none, hearing none, I'm going to make a motion that we close this hearing. Do I have a second?
AC second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Oh,
sir.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
That being said, everyone, we've heard all the hearings, we've heard all the applications for tonight, and we're going to deliberate on them. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. We appreciate it.
Mr. Sutton?
Mark, is there anything you want me to put back in the main
Oh.
application?
Oh, thanks.
Okay, that goes there. You're gonna keep those here? Okay. Okay, you're gonna keep them separate? Got it. All righty. Very good. Okay, here comes the master file.
We are not in blood discussion tonight.
I got it. I got it.
Construction, not the hearing. The only thing that would have been discussed today that was probably about the variance, proposal that was there. Last meeting was hopefully at the village. The last meeting is at the village center. Yeah, they're here and they have their own special meeting there. What time is that? 6 o'clock. I don't know what time it's, do we know? Was it 6? Do we know what time, yes. I'm sure it's still going on.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, I think you're
Good to see you, Mrs. Franza. Good to see you too. I didn't know you was. I am. Yeah. I see her every Saturday. Our boys are on the same soccer team now. Oh, wonderful. Yeah, hopefully we'll see you. What are we addressing first? Let's start with the first applicant. Let's go to 12 Jefferson. That was a pretty easy situation.
They have two proposed variances. Anybody have any questions or comments on each applicant?
No, I actually think that it's gonna be an improvement from what was existing, especially because they did do drainage control and management that was not pre-existing. And that is an area that is significantly prone to flooding from neighbor to neighbor.
So Cindy, just to clarify, they submitted that as-built survey to you?
Yes.
So we now have that in our
Yes,
file?
it was in the file the whole time.
Okay.
She just submitted it a couple of days
Okay.
ago, so it was in
Right.
her record, but it wasn't on our flash drive for the meeting.
Gotcha. So she was giving them to us as she was progressing through the
Yes,
process. Okay.
Anybody have any
Do you wanna see
questions?
it? Do you want to see it?
Did you guys want to study that any further or no? No, we're good. We're good.
You
Yeah.
okay?
If there's no issues, I'm gonna make a motion, I'm gonna make a series of motions to approve each variance. We're all good? All right, Cindy, we're gonna make a motion, we're gonna make some motions on 12 Jefferson Landing. Variance number 1 was for a side yard setback of 18 inches where 5 feet is required. I'm gonna make a motion that we approve that variance. Do I have a second?
Second AC?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Variance number 2, I'll make a motion to approve a variance to have a passive accessory structure in the front yard. Do I have a second?
AC second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
We have a quorum, right?
1,
I
2,
love
3.
this little old lady in the picture.
I know.
Let's talk about Earhart. Thoughts, comments, questions?
Yeah, so double that lot merging plus the paper road. Without that paper road, you wouldn't be able to get close to the area, even though that wasn't the application, wasn't about coverage, but it's a big part of it. And he walked us through it. Actually, in the application, it includes the certificate of abandonment for the paper road. It shows the filed map was changed, and the CO actually recites both lots, which is kind of interesting. So,
I thought, I was surprised there wasn't more people here to,
I know.
because of the amount of work
Did
they're
you,
doing.
did you see the plans?
Yes,
Oh, wow, look at these. Yeah.
yeah, they are, the architecturals are quite, you know.
You know, there's such a thing.
to each his
He,
own.
off the record, he is one of the greatest architects I've ever come across in my industry. I mean, I've listed and sold quite a few of his homes, and they are always spectacularly built. Always.
Well, I think you're gonna have that here. I think that's no doubt about it.
When he was, when he was referencing the roof line, I mean, unfortunately for the neighbor, he wasn't able to see what was to be
Yeah.
designed.
Right,
It's gorgeous.
yeah, I think it's gonna be very
He has certainly maximized the lot. He's making the most of it. You address the concerns of the, whether or not it's to be a potential of a second home there.
Right, yeah.
Are you comfortable with the lot coverage? You seem to have some issues. with
Yeah,
lot
I just
coverage.
felt like it was something that, wasn't highlighted in this story because it is approaching its maximum values, but when you understand how this lot came to be, it was 2 non-conforming lots put together, plus the abandonment of the paper road by the village. Only the village can give that abandonment. It's village property. And then when you add those 3 together, and he did say he does have a very difficult lot. It's not a perfect rectangle or something like that. It is irregular, right? Because it narrowed. So he is trying to work within that. I think to your point as a great architect to maximize. So no, I'm not concerned because I think he improved the values of the math. The driveway doesn't count, we learned.
No, this is not his first rodeo.
No,
He crossed every
Yeah, he
T
did.
and dotted every I, and
He
he
did.
even heard, he knew what to address with that, and they're within 3 feet or whatever it is to meet the percentage.
That's it.
And
This house will
As long as
never,
the building department
you can never.
just make sure the
yeah.
water management is there, because he is creating more surface area that, but that's not our parameters.
Yeah, I'm good with it, Mark. I'm good with the
Okay.
lot. Are you good with it?
have no issues with it. I mean, if it was anywhere else, I'd maybe have concern, but since it's at a
the
dead-end
end.
road, it's,
Yeah.
Well,
you
and
know,
he
it's
is
not.
fully conforming. When you
Yeah.
go, when you pull all the way up there, you will see both homes on the left side and the gentleman who came here himself as a property owner there on the corner of High Street.
Mhm.
His property does something similar. So he fully conforms to what the neighborhood
Right.
is.
Yeah.
The only way that he is not going to conform is, I mean, it's just architecturally, it is going to stand out. People will
Yeah,
drive up
well,
there
that's
to
what I-
look at that house
yeah,
because it will, those
Yeah,
building
it's
plans
gonna,
are stunning.
it's gonna be like, hey, you're driving by, like, whoa.
I was a
where
little
did that come
nervous
from?
when he said the courtyard is open to the public. I was like, yeah, I wouldn't say that on record because it's going to be lovely.
So,
No, very nice, very nice.
if you guys have no issues, then I'll
So-
make some motions.
How do you want to take them, just one by one?
I'll take them
or-
Yep.
one by one. I
Alright,
think
cool.
we're better off. All right, so we're gonna start off of the recommendations from the building department and the planning department. First one is make a motion that we maintain an existing 6.5 foot front yard setback where 40 is required. Planning notes that there's a significant wooded area buffer remains to the property to the south and to the east. So I'll make a motion that we approve that. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Second, proposed 10.1 foot front yard setback where 40 is required. Make a motion that we approve that. Do I have do I have a second?
AC second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Third one, maintain an existing 5.5 foot south side yard setback where 18 feet is required. Make a motion to approve that. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Proposed 6.5 north side yard setback where 18 foot is required. Again, staff notes that there's a significant wooded buffer that remains to the west. I make a motion to approve that.
Second, AC?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The fifth one, proposed 10.6 foot northeast side yard setback where 18 foot is required. Again, staff makes a note that there's a significant wooded area buffer to the north. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion
Oh,
carried.
sorry. I did the wrong time. I approve. Do not oppose.
Final, maintain an existing 40-foot lot depth where 100 feet is required. The staff notes that there's no increase in degree of nonconformity. I make a motion to approve it. Do I have a second?
Second, AC?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right. Now let's talk about everyone's favorite application, Belterre lot. Andrew, I'm going to ask you to come join us because you're going to talk to us about the EAF. And I want to talk to you about some options with this.
Do we have to discuss the EAF while we are not
Well, that's what I wanted to let me-
addressing those variances?
Hear me out for a second. Just want to make sure that we're
Okay.
clear on the path going
Aye, aye,
forward.
Mm-hmm.
On record, so. So, we have a postponement. We've got it, we've got new input from other departments. The thought of my thought is, and I shared it with the board, and we all seem to be on the same page, is that at the next hearing, if he doesn't present applicable information related to for the change of use, i.e. Demonstrates a financial hardship, self-created, all that as per the requirements, then we're just gonna close the hearing and we'll vote on it as is, either yay or nay, depending on that.
Okay.
So, going through the EAF might be premature. I know you've done some work on it. You wanna just talk very vaguely, not going into just what you spoke to me about?
Yeah.
Andy went through and did the part 2, just gonna give you the broad strokes on it.
So I
don't
think
wanna
we
go
have
into
a
it.
copy of the staff report. We marked it draft, we gave you a copy of it. I updated the secret section. But, I could go through the EAF.
Well, apparently he has about 5 or 6 major issues:
You're right.
traffic,
He's got
slope,
actually
vegetation, erosion.
with them. Yeah, increased traffic, altered present
Got about
pattern
11.
of moving of people and goods. It's inconsistent with local land use planning or zoning. It's a change of use, so that makes it inconsistent with our zoning. The proposed action is inconsistent with the character of the existing natural landscape, was one of the things identified in the EAF. The proposed action may involve construction on slopes 15% or greater. Again, these are line items that we check off whether or not it's going to have a small to moderate impact or potentially large impact. These are all moderate to potentially large impacts. May result in increase in erosion, whether from physical disturbance or vegetation removal. 5D of the full environmental assessment form part 2 is the proposed action may result in or require modifications of the existing drainage patterns. Other impacts are loss of natural drainage area and increasing in the impervious surface area. So most of the comments from the public, most of the comments from the involved agencies that we received pretty much talked about drainage, erosion, traffic impacts, and the impact on the character of the neighborhood and the neighbors.
So this is a change of use.
Yes.
A lot of the things that you have just mentioned would still be in place if it was a commercial space or a use that is as of right? You still have to face 50% slopes.
I think
you still
the-
have to
The,
right?
the environmental parameters of the lot
Don't
will not
change.
change whether somebody comes in with a single-family home
Right.
or whether they come in
Right,
with a
the only
apartment
things that
building
change are things
or-
like the character of the neighborhood,
Right,
maybe
right.
traffic, where.
Well,
you
the
may-
traffic also, because with this lot that was originally proposed, it was to create a continuity and a contiguous access through the existing medical park. It was to be an extension of that office space. So the traffic impact wouldn't necessarily have been the same
Right.
because you would have been utilizing an already curb cut that was a pre-existing. The idea for this as a C1, as a commercial use, was just to be a continuation of pre-existing structures and uses. So it wouldn't necessarily be the same, but if somebody chose to say, no, I want to be a single and separate entity and they wanted to do it differently, then it
Then they gotta
may.
face all those
It
environmental-
may.
As of right, you would mitigate some of the issues
But
that
not
he's having them, but you'd still have all the environmental issues.
Um,
The slopes aren't
and
going away.
Right.
It also would, it could have a different environmental impact as per the parking requirements, which required additional surface space to be changing of softscape to hardscape. Because if you go for an office use, your parking requirements are not going to be the same as they would for a 10 unit
Correct.
space. So that's not going to be the same either.
So all we have is a change of use at this time.
Right.
With some environmental factors that don't really change.
I guess the point I'm trying to make is and Alexia's point is that we're not jumping the gun. Let's not go down the rabbit hole to EAF because he hasn't really.
So I
As
think
of
we don't
right now,
even-
if we close the hearing now, he didn't give us anything that I could vote on, in an affirmative manner that I feel.
I agree.
Now I think, I think when he comes back, he has to. I mean, Andy, if you talk to him, if you can just express our sentiments that he has to stay on point on what we're looking for here. I don't want, again, don't want to hear about all the great things he's done. His traffic guy's really got to come with studies or.
Yeah.
He's got to bring a financial person, whether it's a.
We're not
real
looking for
estate-
his opinion. We're looking for
Right,
facts.
I don't want to hear it, I don't
Yeah.
want to, I really don't want Excel sheets that he's putting together. I need something from an accounting firm, I need something from a real estate agent or a legal, or a land use attorney, or somebody that.
Verifiable data set that can be.
In the past, this board is for change of use, which we've had very minimal on. When we have had them, we've had experts testify on the thing, so we're looking for, whether it's a report, a testimony, something more than his opinion, and it's not the board questioning his integrity, it's the board being consistent with the way we do things.
Because as of now, like Mark said, we don't have enough information to make a decision. He has not supplied, he's made the record a lot, but not with the actual substantive things that we need to make a decision.
And even if we go with the change of use, then we still have
To deal with that.
the variances, which we haven't even gone down that rabbit hole yet, which is another you know, heavy lift, so to speak, but.
Well, we'll just address that, should he prove his.
Right, right. I'm just saying that's if we
We
got
got-
to that point, that's another heavy lift.
When
But
did we receive that request to adjourn his, or when was that letter dated?
Last week?
He read it in March 7th?
March 17th, he gave it to us, and he's looking to come on the 24th.
17th.
Have the email.
Yeah, I'm
Yes,
just curious
they
how
do.
long ago he submitted that request.
It wasn't a last minute
It
decision.
wasn't
No,
a
no,
last
no.
minute date?
Yeah, 13th,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it wasn't like he decided
Okay, I was just
yesterday or
curious.
today, like,
Just curious.
no. I think he's, you know, got to put his ducks in a row.
Very good. I think you did good tonight.
If anybody has any interest, the Bluff meeting is still going
I
on.
was
I
gonna-
just received confirmation.
Was your mom there?
Yeah.
Just for the record.
She hung up that handicap placard. She found herself a spot real quick.